Well, Sabbath greetings to everyone. I hope you have had a fantastic week. We have had just a flurry of activity and lots going on around the West household this week. What news to report? Well, one thing I wanted to at least mention was it was in the 50s today. I think might have even reached the low 60s. So wow, that was a beautiful, beautiful thing. So I was able to get out. I had to run some errands today, so I was out a little bit today in this. So it was glorious. I hope you've been enjoying the beautiful weather. Had the opportunity to head to Lake Geneva this past week. I think it was just a couple of days ago, and spent most of an afternoon there just planning and talking to the events coordinator there and getting some things locked in and getting a tour of the facility finally, and got to see the rooms. And anybody who's planning on going to Lake Geneva, I would strongly encourage you to do so. It's going to be a fantastic place to keep the feast. If any of you kept the feast in Traverse City and you enjoyed the hotel accommodations there at the Great Wolf Lodge, this is very similar in some ways. With it being here at the Grand Geneva. It's actually at the new facility that is it's separate from the Grand Geneva Resort proper. It's called Timber Ridge, and that's where we're going to have services. That's where most of our room block is, the 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom condos, and they're very, very nice. I'll tell you, they're all private rooms. So if you have a 1-bedroom, then you have a private lockout room and a queen size pull out, or just a pull out. I don't know if it's queen size, whatever size those come in. I suppose maybe it's queen. Pull out couch, and if you get a 2-bedroom, you have a separate bedroom, and then upstairs there's a loft with an additional queen bed in it and an additional bathroom. So there's 2-bedroom, 2-bath condos, and so they're very, very nice. Each one of them has a fireplace and a huge jetted tub, and it's I think really going to shape up to be a fantastic feast in Lake Geneva. So at least that's what we're planning for. There's going to be plenty of things to do there, wonderful things to do, and hopefully we can have that closeness, that family type atmosphere with most of us staying right there on site. It would be fantastic. And the rooms are very, very, for what you get, they are very, very affordable, with the rooms being $109 a night. For a 1-bedroom, so it gets a little bit higher. I think it's $199 for a 2-bedroom, but they're very, very nice rooms again. So I encourage everybody, make your plans there for Timber Ridge on the Grand Geneva property, Grand Geneva Resort property. So anyway, made great progress there. I have much to do here, as it seems like registration gets pushed earlier and earlier every year, and so the coordinators are really dealing with some deadlines right now in terms of getting the microsites ready for y'all to go out there and visit and see what's going on, and eventually here in March to register. So anyway, we're making progress there. Appreciate your prayers for that. I still have a lot to do. Next week's going to be very, very high emphasis on getting prepared for the Feast of Tabernacles. So also, I know I'm sure everyone's heard by now about Dr. Meredith, and so I just want to encourage everyone. I know you already have, but certainly keep Dr. Meredith in your prayers, and we'll be praying for him and just the tremendous service that he's provided the church for so long. Absolutely love to see him be healed so he could finish up the work, but at the same time, I know that God's in charge of all of that, and we know that if something were to happen to Dr. Meredith, there's certainly very capable men in charge there that will carry on in a very similar pattern and a very similar way of making an emphasis. The emphasis is going to be on finishing the work. There's no question about that. So we're in the right place. This is where you should be. It's where I know that I am called to be, to serve here in the living Church of God, and will continue to do so as Jesus Christ leads the church, and we look forward to very soon to His return. But we've got work to do, that's for sure. I just wanted to look out there. I was just kind of curious to see, there's just mayhem going on right now in the media. this battle that's going on between President Trump and basically all of the mainstream media, and he's really come out and made no bones about what he thinks about the mainstream media. And I think it has, certainly I can understand it. It has people on edge. They're very edgy right now just because of all that's being promulgated out there, all this news, and a lot of it, frankly, there is this new fake news out there, that a lot of this stuff, there's just no merit to it, there's no proof, and yet the mainstream media is just absolutely dead set on destroying this president and any kind of progress that is underway. So with that being said, I thought, I would see if I could find the fears. They put these surveys out there a lot about the top fears in the United States of America. And I have a list here from the Chapman University Survey of American Fears. And this is actually 2016. So this is the most recent the survey that they've put out there. Number one on the list right now, top 10 fears. Corruption of government officials, 60.6%. People do not trust government officials, which basically says they don't trust authority. The government it's obviously it is a very important part of this democracy that we live in, and yet 60.6% of people, roughly, as far as these surveys go, say that is a top fear of government corruption. And so what does that scream? That screams that very soon, there's going to have to be righteous government. And so we look forward to Christ returning and establishing righteous government. And so right now we're upholding the government of God in the church. We do it the way God says to do it, and that's the way we're going to continue to do it, because He's the one that shows us how to have government in the church. And we don't veer from that. We're not going to shy away from that. But we see here that there's so many people that are fearful. And maybe that's even in the church of God. They become fearful of government. Government in the world, government in the church. And if it's misused, then yeah, there's a lot to be afraid of. There's a lot to fear in that regard, because they can really mess with your life. But we have to trust Jesus Christ when it comes to the church of God. We still do it His way. We don't lose faith. We don't lose faith in Christ to rule His church and to guide and direct His church as the living head, the head of His church. The second thing here, coincidentally, terrorist attack on the nation. That's the second fear listed at 41% fear a terrorist attack. 39.9% that they would have inadequate funds for the future. So there's fear with regard to finances and the economy. We see the stock market is out of control, but yet, right along with that, personal debt is skyrocketing. And I read somewhere where it was clear back up to basically where it was in 2008. So there was a short time there where people were scrambling and trying to pay down debt because of the Great Recession that we went through. And now it seems like just the spending, the deficit spending has gone back up. And people are fearful they're not going to have enough funds for the future. And the next one is a victim of terrorism, 38.5%. So again, there's two right there in the top four that have to do with terrorism and the fear of terrorism. And then the third one at the same, 38.5%, they fear gun control. They don't want their guns being taken away from them. So I'm not going to cover all 10 of them. There are actually 10 of them that are listed here. You can look that up. I think it's at Chapman. It's a Chapman University thing. Just look up the America's Top Fears 2016. But anyway, I wanted to read Isaiah 41. We're going through Isaiah. It'll be a while before we get to chapter 41, since I only made it through 6 chapters. 6 or 7, I can't remember, the first Bible study. But anyway, Isaiah 41 and verse 10, it says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Yes, I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." That is a promise for God's people who put their faith and trust in Him. All of these fears, all of these things the world is all worried about, we really, truly do not have to fear. We are told to fear not. God is with us, and He will strengthen us. He will uphold us with His righteous right hand. We can bank on it. We can count on it. So I hope you're being positive this Sabbath. I hope you have a wonderful, positive, uplifting, awesome Sabbath. We look forward to seeing the brethren in Chicago tomorrow. And then after that, we, of course, are planning our annual bowling activity. So really looking forward to that. I'm terrible at bowling, but it's always a lot of fun, even if I don't do very well. It's still a lot of fun. So I hope to see many of you there. The rest of you, we'll see you in the weeks ahead. I sure do love you all. I appreciate your prayers for me and the prayers for all of those that are still suffering and going through so many health trials. And you'll see the updates in the announcements tomorrow at services. But we will see you all soon. I love you all. Take care. And we'll talk again real soon. Have a great Sabbath.